Good evening and welcome to Fox News Tonight. I'm Piers Morgan. President Trump kept mountains of Coke in the White House. That was Diet Coke. You can only imagine the howls of outrage if it was the white powder variety of Coke that had been discovered there on his watch. But 11 days ago, actual cocaine was discovered in the Biden White House. And unbelievably, the case is already closed. Nothing to see here, apparently. In a fresh blow to the president's credibility, the Secret Service says it had a good sniff around, but they haven't been able to crack it. The agency now says we may simply never know who took highly illegal drugs into the West Wing. It's a pretty shocking outcome that one of the top Democrats in Congress is more than happy about.
You know, we had a briefing in which it was explained that the White House was being fully cooperative with the investigation. It looks like it's inconclusive, and, you know, they were unable to determine, you know, who deposited it there in the cubby on the way in or the way out, or left it there. Oh yeah, I'm satisfied it's a thorough investigation, and I just kept imagining what it would be like here.
Well, if you're surprised that no culprit was found, you shouldn't be. The sympathetic media has been predicting this for days now.
Kelly O'Donnell reports that it's possible that we might not even get to learn who actually brought this small baggie is. So I'm sure that's a sigh of relief to whoever sort of made the boneheaded move of bringing a bag of cocaine to the White House. But because this was in a, not an area that, is highly trafficked, but wasn't necessarily covered by cameras all that well, it's an area that a decent amount of people had access to. It just makes that investigation a little bit difficult. So, this could all end without, necessarily anyone being named as the person who was responsible for bringing that bag of cocaine to the White House.
Well, congratulations, Nostradamus. So let me get this straight. Because this one specific area isn't covered by cameras, we can't find out who took cocaine into the supposedly most secure building on planet Earth. Really? I've been to the White House several times. It is crawling with security. It makes Fort Knox look like an open day. And so it should be. The White House is where the President of the United States lives. Russia and China and other nefarious forces out there will look at this and they'll laugh, but they'll also take notes, and their notes won't be rolled up. According to NBC News, the prevailing theory is that the cocaine belonged to a visitor, which conveniently rules out any member of the Biden administration or the Biden family. It's just another wrinkle in the administration's ever-changing version of events. First, it was found in the library. Then there were reports it was in the West Wing before it finally placed near the Situation Room. Think about that for a moment. Cocaine is found near the Situation Room, but nobody knows how it got there. At one point, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan declared it could have been workers in the basement. He hadn't got a clue. It could have been anyone. The only thing he didn't try and tell us was it was Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum who'd been lifted as chief suspects. Then Biden spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre said no member of the Biden family had been present at the White House when the cocaine was found. But that wasn't true. The President and First Lady Jill Biden, and yes, the President's son Hunter, who has, let's be honest, dabbled in cocaine, were all there right before the coke was found. There are very few people who can enter the White House without a thorough security screening who also happen to have an extensive history of cocaine abuse. I'm just saying. Well, Jean-Pierre has refused to rule out Joe or Hunter. I mean, Joe we can probably rule out because he's half asleep. But Hunter, well, not quite so clear, is it? But she was actually mortally offended by anyone even daring to ask the question.
There has been some irresponsible reporting about the family, and so I got to call that out here. And I have been very clear. I was clear 2 days ago when talking about this over and over again as I was being asked a question. As you know, and media outlets reported this, the Biden family was not here. They were not here. They were at Camp David. They were not here Friday. They were not here Saturday. They were not here Sunday. They were not even here Monday. They came back on Tuesday. So to ask that question is actually incredibly irresponsible. And I'll just leave it there.
I'd leave it there too, because actually your response was what was incredibly irresponsible. To use the White House podium to tell such a blatant whopper is irresponsible. And it was a whopper because they were there until early evening on the Friday. The president himself doesn't seem to care enough either way to give any kind of explanation. I haven't seen a fixed grin like that since I last saw somebody on cocaine. Now, I'm not saying for a moment that that's what happened there. I think we can rule him out. But believe it or not, this is not even the first time controlled substances have been discovered at the Biden White House. It's now emerged today that last year, the Secret Service found marijuana in the White House on 2 separate occasions. That would at least explain some of the recent decision-making.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.